Hi guys, it's Laura. So I'm here in a mobility. It's a van. It's an abandoned van, and I frequently check the weather reports. Especially since I've been staying in a tent for the last few days. And when I heard it was gonna rain, I started in a few days. I started scoping out like where we were going to be able to position ourselves so that we would be, safe, secured. I mean, tent living is okay, but when it rains, you really don't want to be out there like that. So I came across this abandoned vehicle, and it's like it's a huge van. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. It's 18 seats, and it's perfect for us. It's like it has plenty of room for everybody to stretch out and everything. And the thing of it was, when I first heard the weather report I saw was like Saturday night or early Sunday morning, and it said Monday, so I started looking around like Sunday morning. And when I saw Monday, but I didn't realize it was for early Monday morning, like I was going to stay in the tent Sunday night, and do all the things I wanted to do during the day on Monday, and then go, come stay in the van. And it turns out the weather report was for like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So I was glad I had started looking early. And this just is another example of how the Lord will provide, and how He takes care of like every need. And like I didn't even realize that I was going to need to even look for anything. And I probably, wouldn't have even been able to be close enough to a hotel, being that I'm, out here outside right now. So God is good all the time. And, we were able to stay here overnight, and it poured. I mean, it really started before 5 o'clock in the morning. Actually, it was like maybe 3:30 or 4 in the morning, and it started raining. And I mean, it rained hard. So I left the tent up and everything, but we covered it. Like we put some like little tarps over it. They're these like metallic sheets. They say emergency blankets, but they're really like large pieces of foil or something. And the tent was still there when we got out of here Monday afternoon. And we put most of our stuff in here in the van with us. And there was even a guy who was also homeless, and he stayed in here with us. And first I'm like, this might be a problem. But I knew that there was a chance of that, because like I said, it's a high homeless rate at this point. So he was chill, and he got on the van very respectfully. He was like, oh, I'm just chilling. And I was like, hey, I got you. I understand, we're all in the same situation. But I was so glad we found this thing. And when the ground dried up Monday evening, we still went back to the tent and everything, because we didn't really need to stay here or whatever. And I know there's a lot of homeless people out here, so I don't want to take up space that's unnecessary and unneeded. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I just thought that was such a stroke of luck. But I've been on this journey long enough to know that there's no coincidences. And God just put this in my path and just gave me the presence of mind. Hey, check the weather, see what it's going to be, and see what you're going to need to do. And everything worked out. So that's what I say. Just keep holding on, keep believing. If you're on this type of journey, trials and tribulations don't last forever. Bad times don't last forever. So you just kind of got to get through it. And it's not like I just get through it all the time and I'm okay. I've had plenty of days where I don't feel like getting out of bed. I've had plenty of days where I just want to cry. But just because I cried yesterday doesn't mean I'm going to cry today and tomorrow. You have to just kind of keep pushing on, keep moving on. And don't even think about the naysayers. A lot of people are going to say, what makes you think that you're blessed if you're in this type of situation? It's the same as Job. When Job went through his moment when he lost all his kids, his livestock, his everything except his wife, basically. And God allowed him to go through those tribulations to see if he was going to still be, well, he knew Job would be still, praising him and, never curse him or anything like that. And we all have that time where we go through certain things in our life, and we have to, kind of deal with it and try to trust God. And that's the whole thing. We have to trust, we have to believe, because just because something bad happens to you doesn't mean you're in the wrath of God. Sometimes it's just a trial, it's just a tribulation. We have to move on with it. And, sometimes you are going to feel bad. Sometimes you are going to feel like, this cannot be real, this cannot be happening. I mean, I've had plenty of times. But then, you have to also look at the bright side. How many good days have you had? How many good experiences have you had? You know what I'm saying? So it all kind of balances out in the end. And I have faith. They say you only need faith as much as a mustard seed. And I have that and then some. So, I have no worries as far as me getting through what I'm going through now. I was at a point in my life where I was like, I worked my whole life to avoid this exact situation, being homeless, being jobless. And now that I realize how free I am from the bull, how lucky I am to realize that God is out there and he is listening to our prayers. And, the bottom line is he wants all of his children to come home. He loves all of us, good, bad, whatever. And we have to trust and believe in his plan. And, that's what I've been trying to do since I've been on this journey. And like I said, it has not always been easy. I have to snap myself out of it. Sometimes, for like weeks, I just won't post anything because I get tired of talking about it. I get tired of thinking about people who are against me, people who smile in your face and they really can't stand you, people who, well, you're doing good, I want to see you do good, but not better than me, or not even as good as me, and there are a lot of people like that. And during those times, you have to let all that go and just trust in God, because in the end, that's all you really have. These people are nobody's going to help you get into heaven. It's your faith, it's your belief, it's your trust in the Lord that's going to get you through. So I hope this message helps somebody. Y'all have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.